One. Welcome to Show Me Your News, the pinnacle for delivering and debating the gaming news that matters the most to you.
Rumor-filled gossip, hardware blunders, or upcoming releases. If it relates to video games, we want to talk about it.
I am Yoko, and I am not falling for any April Fools.
I'm Tony, and I smell like chlorine in my new apartment.
It's a good place to be in your new apartment. How goes that?
Oh, it's freaking awesome. I love it. So we just paid rent yesterday, so that was kind of a bummer.
Well, you know, that's part of
That is part
of grown-up life, but I'm sure you're going to find,
It was
new
just party
things.
time until then, and then I'm like, oh yeah.
Everybody's feeling fine because it is party time. I'm sure you're going to find many more things to enjoy about apartment life. That is for sure. Super's not with us today. Super is sans computer until that gets moved down from his old living space to his new one. So last episode he was able to stop by my place and we had some beverages. So thank you, Tony, for putting up with that.
Jesus Christ, I haven't listened back to that one.
You were a good sport, and we appreciate it. And I was listening the next day, and it's just like, did we end that podcast normally? I don't know if we ended that podcast normally, but
Kind of had to initiate it, but yeah.
you kept us in line, so thank you for that.
As you pointed out, it's fucking crazy that I'm doing that.
Maybe just a bit. Anyway, we are part of the SMYN network at showmeyournews.com, and our top stories today for episode 156 on Tuesday, April 1st, 2014. It's actually going to be a legitimate episode. I mean, this is the day that we were able to find time to actually do this podcast, and, the day aside, it gives us the topic to talk about April Fools, but we'll also talk about Super Mario 3D Land, the stage in a very weak couple weeks of Super Smash Bros. Updates. Also, Game Developers Conference for 2014 was all about virtual reality, not only with the Oculus Rift, which ended up getting purchased by Facebook, of all companies, but also PlayStation revealing their oft-rumored virtual reality headset, and it has a new name, and it has a new scope to it all. We have lots of stories in our story pool. We have games that are out recently. We'll get on our soapbox, and we'll share some YouTube videos with you. But we have a couple guests. First up, he appears on our live streams. He does live in close proximity to the dojo. Solid Snake 120. Welcome, Scott.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. It's good to be on.
I think you've been on a couple specials in the past, whether it's E3 or fan podcasts, but correct me if I'm wrong, this may be your first.
This is, I want to say, my second. I think I was on once 2 years or so ago with Rachel, but other than that, I've been in the specials and referenced and talked to in the
Referenced a lot.
That's true.
As a correspondence. I'll say
go.
I'm a correspondence in the field.
That's a good
kind
way
of
of
thing
putting
in
it.
the comments.
Yeah, we have so many episodes that it just all becomes a blur at this point. Also joining us from Read the Manual, it's the Debaga.
Well, hello there. After I just sort of, last minute snuck my way in, chloroform. Super's actually not here because I chloroformed him. He's in the closets.
Oh no.
Closets plural? Did you cut him up?
Uh-oh.
He'll be fine. He's super.
He is super. Thanks for asking. Anyway, we start off the show with a little...
That's a big gay Al reference. I'm impressed with you, Pete.
Yes, it is.
Do you want to
Very
segue
impressed.
into me finishing South Park?
Sure. Tony, what have you been playing?
Well, South Park. And I don't know if I mentioned this on the last episode because you were plastered and you probably wouldn't remember anyway, but
Thank you for bringing that up, yes.
there's that fucking spoiler I got mad about that was in the commercial for the game was in the last goddamn 20 minutes.
I remember you talking about that. That was while we were still
And
sober.
I'm just realizing I can curse more because my parents aren't in the other room, and that's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Oh my god.
No, when I first moved into my last apartment, my roommate bought an entire pizza, and he said, I'm going to take this into my room. I'm going to eat this myself because there's nobody that can tell me that I can't.
So
I
is this
Did you
Tony's
have a
pizza
bachelor
moment? Is that
pad?
what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, I've had pizza moments too.
Like
I've had
what?
It's
so
wonderful.
I've had way too much pizza since I've moved out.
Chinese was my big thing up at my apartment at college. I would take a mental health day from classes, order Chinese, and just sit in my room and play games or watch TV. Oh,
Oh yeah,
those were the days.
I'm but the South Park's mostly all I've played. I went through an unmissable guide, and I missed something, so I'm kind of pissed off at that
Oh.
because it didn't tell me I needed to fart on underpants gnomes on the way through the game, so I got to play it again.
I thought you were gonna say like you missed a chin Pokemon or something.
Oh, go on! Nah, I've just missed a trophy like achievement. Like it wasn't a collectible. I got every collectible you can get, but I missed a trophy, so I gotta fucking get 2 days into the game again. That's about it. A bunch of random crap because Nate moved in, and I'll get more to like just CRT and old gaming in my soapbox, but I have fallen in fucking love with NBA Jam again.
NBA Jam.
Oh man, he's heating up.
I'll just tell this story briefly. Me and Nate have played it a few times, and we just fucking blast. I remember the first time he's like, "You want to play NBA Jam?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." And then immediately I'm like, "Yeah!" It just comes back.
This is on the SNES.
Yes, and Quentin came over. He beat Nathan, and then I started playing him, and we went into overtime. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like it was so intense, and he was up by 2 with like 8 seconds left. And I get down court, and I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm going for 3." And I'm about to shoot it, and he just knocks the ball out of my hands and time runs out.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's the worst feeling in the world, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's up there.
But I'll just leave those two because I haven't really played anything else intently, really.
All right. Doba, what about you?
I actually haven't been playing anything. I've been sick for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Extremely so. And so mainly I've been playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, the first one. And trying to beat the Trinity Islands map, which I'm pretty sure Joe Bush might be the only one to understand my pain here, but that map sucks. And
Now-
I don't think I'm gonna beat it.
Now you haven't played. Was it 4? The new one.
4 hasn't come out yet.
They announced it though.
It's been announced as a mobile game, and everybody got really mad, and so Atari turned right around and said, well, we're making a PC experience as well. And everybody's come to the conclusion that since they didn't say PC version and instead said PC experience, it's going to be a Facebook game.
Yeah.
And everybody's still going to be really mad.
Who's the publisher behind that one? Do you know?
Atari.
Oh, okay.
It's an Atari franchise, and they're
So
the ones working on it.
If it were EA, they would definitely go the Facebook social add-on as well. So.
Yeah.
Roller Coaster Tycoon exclusive on Oculus Rift, now owned by Facebook.
That's possible. I mean, you get the virtual reality on the roller coasters. That actually sounds kind of cool.
That would actually be great and would solve my biggest problem with the third game in the series, where the big draw was you can ride your roller coasters, except riding them sucks.
Have you guys seen the April Fools where it's like play your life in third person mode?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, I want that.
Anything to get out of this first person.
Oh my god.
All right, Scott, what are you playing?
Really, it's 3 main things right now. I've been replaying Final Fantasy X HD. Got it on the PS3 and Vita. Such a good job with the HD port of it. Really one of their best.
I downloaded the soundtrack. I need to sift through that.
The remastered soundtrack is... They have a lot of good songs in it. I do wish you could switch between the remastered and the original, but I'm still really enjoying the remastered soundtracks.
Yeah.
I was
They did a really
bummed
good
out
job
by-
with. Did a really good job with Kingdom Hearts. So
Yeah.
not surprising.
Kingdom Hearts was perfect, which is why this one kind of bummed me out because I did look up some songs. I'm like, I don't like that as much. Like every one of the Kingdom Hearts ones, which they just played with instruments, so it worked.
Right.
But I think I heard Seymour's theme, and I'm like, just fucking throw Black Mages in there. That's the best theme ever. Just do that.
I don't even know if the Black Mages are still really around anymore. But
Not too much, really. But, I mean, they had a version of that song. It's just like, just throw that in there.
That is a great
Yeah.
song.
it is. I'm also been playing Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. been playing that a lot, and that's a lot of fun. I really like the new adventure mode and the things they added with the expansion. I would definitely recommend it if you like loot games and used to play the original Diablo 3 and kind of got bored with it. Try Reaper of Souls. It's definitely worth it and adds a lot of new fun stuff, especially adventure mode. And then lastly,
Cough loves those loot games.
And I think you will appreciate this, Yoko. I'm 4 chapters in on the original Professor Layton, Curious Village.
Yeah!
Slowly going through that.
Woo!
It's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah,
Lots of
Doba.
tough puzzles. So that's a lot of fun. Love the art style in it. And I'm anxious to see who the murderer is and get to the bottom of it and then start working my way through that series. So
it's a great series.
Between this and Sly Cooper, you two are on like the road to be Ben and I's best friends.
Pretty much.
Sly Cooper 4 was my big boss prediction the year the E3 that it was announced.
Yes,
so
it was.
I've been a Sly Cooper fan since day one. Well, since I rented the first game and fell in love with it.
I rented the second game and fell in love with it, so you beat me by 1 game.
Doba, do you want to plug a podcast that involves Professor Layton?
Why, yes. I actually have it edited and need to put it up on Dropbox tonight. But there is this would have been up earlier if I hadn't been dying. Yoko, Ben, and
casually.
Oh, was that all?
Yep, dying.
NBD.
Yoko, Ben, and I recorded a spoiler cast for Professor Layton and the Azran Legacy, which is the newest one that just came out. That also covers past 5 games and the movie and everything. So look forward to that because it's actually really good. I think.
Yeah, big old Layton spoiler cast. So. Good
and of course,
times.
you're not actually allowed to listen to it if you haven't played the games, decaf.
No. Oh, why would you do that? There's so many spoilers. The story's the best.
I've had like 3 people tell me that they would listen to the spoiler cast even though they haven't played the game, and I don't get it.
No, God, why? No.
I don't understand the logic.
You can't. Scott, have you also been playing Dark Souls 2?
I have been playing a little Dark Souls 2. I streamed a bit this past weekend, and it's such a fun game. It's a bit more user-friendly to get into right away, but it's just as challenging and kind of aggravating, but just as rewarding as any of the Souls games. So, plus I get to wield 2 swords really cool, so that's a bonus in its favor.
That is always a perk. Absolutely. Well, I've been playing Tales of Symphonia a little bit. It's been actually a couple of weeks with travel and everything. We're about 10 hours in. Super helped play after our drink adventures. So we didn't stream that one, unfortunately, because of streaming difficulties here and there. We're about 10 hours in. We're at the Tower of Mana, so I'm sure about, halfway. I'm guessing there's going to be like a halfway break, and then there's going to be more things to do because long game is long. But
you are maybe a quarter of the way.
Fuck!
Quarter to a third, I would say.
Damn it! It's fun, don't get me wrong, but I'm seeing the old faults in the game, and I'm like, well, they're the newer ones, and I'm sure they remedy this, but you can tell the game's age just in design in general, and it is fun. But I kind of wish it were shorter. But
I don't think Symphonia aged as well as Abyss did. I think Abyss is a really good starting point. Mm-hmm. I mean, Symphonia is still a good starting point, but I think Abyss is probably the best kind of place to start. So I would definitely recommend that one after, or if you get really, really sick of Symphonia, maybe try Abyss.
Yeah.
And you might like it.
No, I do have some travel coming up, so Abyss might be coming with me on my 3DS. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
Oh, yeah.
Took me about 2 hours. I have not gotten back to the side missions. I know there's a lot of replay value there. If you like doing the whole score and time attack thing, that's your game. I mostly just wanted to experience the next Metal Gear and what they're doing with the open world and the gameplay. Gameplay is a lot better It's really enjoyable for someone like me who definitely struggles at the stealth. While I hope they do have... I play Metal Gear games on easier difficulties, and I tend to get more run and gun, which this allows you to do. Granted, they'll reward you for being more stealthy if you want to get those S ranks on the main mission and all that, but it's a really good taste of what's to come in Phantom Pain. We could talk more in depth about the ending, because there is some controversy there with pushing the boundaries of the game medium and what is considered appropriate topics for stories to cover, because between what's implied in the last big twist in the end, and then also combined with an audio tape that you kind of have to search out, it gets heavy and definitely mature themes. So we could, I don't know, we eventually do a spoiler cast or something like that on that, but it was a fun game. Granted short, but you get the lower price point, but for the wait until Metal Gear Solid 5, because that one's a long way away, I think it was worth it.
So Kiefer's in it, I guess.
Yeah, he doesn't.
We haven't talked about that.
He sounds like
Tony,
Kiefer Sutherland.
Tony, we still have Phantom Pain. Don't worry, we're okay.
I totally
at this point.
I totally think David Hayter's going to make an appearance as Solid Snake at the end of Phantom Pain. I think that has to happen to just kind of tie it all together. But there aren't many.
But why would they not recast in Japan if that were the reason?
I know.
I think Kojima's like, nah, I'm just gonna do this and fuck you guys. Not really fuck you guys, like it's an artistic vision, and I understand that, but
there
you
aren't
wouldn't
many...
do that to say over there. Like, I don't think he thinks of it like that, though.
Yeah, there aren't many Kiefer moments in the main mission, so you don't get to hear his acting that much. It's debatable.
He sounds like Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, it's just like a Jack Bauer performance.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's what bugged me the most about it. He didn't try to alter or try and make his voice any gruffer or anything to change it and make it more snake-like, I guess. It just sounded like Kiefer Sutherland.
There wasn't much exposure to his voice either, unless you really dug into the tapes. And I think when we get Phantom Pain, it'll be a wider breadth of acting performances, so maybe we'll be able to make a better judgment there. But I've heard very mixed opinions, from others that are very passionate about it as well. I see it as I miss David Hayter, but I'll put up with it. I haven't watched 24, so I don't know that exact.
I like him, but the dude's only got one.
Right.
He's got
range,
one setting.
Which is good for Jack Bauer and stuff, but
it's also good for our Kiefer predictions for that extra bit of Big Boss during E3 time. So.
He redid David Hayter lines. That's what bugged me.
Yeah. Oh, they kept you waiting, huh? Oh, man.
No, in the PS4 flashback missions,
right. Yeah.
They have Kiefer Sutherland screaming "Liquid!" It's no, you don't. No, Kiefer. Those are David Hayter lines.
He redid what?
Well, because it's the Metal Gear Solid Deja Vu mission.
Yeah.
On PS4, yeah.
And you hear Kiefer reciting and saying lines from David Hayter's Metal Gear Solid 1 script.
Yeah.
That really sucks. Look, Metal Gear...
That made me cry a little on the inside, I'm not going to lie.
I can't... I'm sure I've said it on the show, but for the two biggest pieces of media in my life, and I think are masterful, are Ava and then Metal Gear is a notch below it. And I don't... The fact that Kiefer is replacing David, I'm still gonna play it, and I'm still excited, but I'm not as hyped. It's I'll get to that kind of deal.
Right.
I'm not worried about it.
It wouldn't surprise me if they bundle in Ground Zeroes with 5.
That too, and I'll want it on PS4, so I might just wait.
Yeah, no, wouldn't surprise me. Also, I experienced 999, the novel HD. It's the iOS port of 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, the first Zero Escape game. I think it's a very loyal carryover for the story. They cover pretty much everything. They improve how the flowchart works, because that's a game with multiple storylines and all that. If I'm not mistaken, in the original DS game, you had to go back to the beginning and play through it, skipping text along the way. But in this game, as long as you've cleared a certain checkpoint, you can just jump to that at any point And that's a huge help to flesh out all of the different endings. Plus, even once you hit a certain point, they'll tell you what path to take to get an ending that's closer to the true ending. So I think they do a really good job with the story. Granted, you do take out the gameplay, and that's, kind of a point-and-click escape the room scenario, which, for some people, like, that's a lot of fun. I enjoyed that, playing in the original game. But in the first game with 999, those puzzles get pretty complex, things with numerology, and it is very complicated. I think Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward, the sequel, does everything so much better in terms of story complexity, in terms of gameplay, just everything really refined. So if you want to play Virtue's Last Reward, but I think I highly, highly recommend, getting that 999 experience, and you do have an iOS device, for $5, the novel is a great experience. 8 to 10 hours or so, depending on how fast you read to experience the whole thing. And it's in HD. It looks really nice. Granted, a couple spelling errors aside, but I highly recommend it because that is my series. Doba, you have Sly and Layton as like your series that you want to, I don't want to say impose, but you know.
No, impose is the word.
But to ensure that people experience it because of how much it means to you, like Zero Escape is mine. Like, so give that one a shot, please. And plus, apparently the DS game on Amazon is quite cheap, under $20, I think. So definitely give that a shot. And then Infamous Second Son on PS4. The first big PS4 game, first party after launch, looks gorgeous, plays great. It's a wonderful first Infamous game. I 100%ed the good story. Again, because I want to keep playing different games. Like, I might get back to the, do the evil path eventually. But, putting 14 hours into 100% the good line is quite enjoyable. The story suffers, though. They don't really bring in too much of the story from the first two games, except for a passing mention. Like, the first two games could have easily not happened, and you could still have Second Son as a standalone game. And I get that to try to involve new players. That could be their first Infamous game. But I think a little more fan service could have gone a long way. A little more threading of the story into Second Sons. And they do have a Cole's Legacy DLC, but it's not that good. It's very brief, and it doesn't do a whole lot for the story, except for a nice cameo. But what can you do? Very, very good PS4 game.
That's kind of why I'm not like super excited for that either. Is I've heard like okay things about the story, and I'm like,
The gameplay is great.
On that ride, why'd you take away the character? Yeah. I mean, I'll get to know another character, but I'm not as excited for it.
The story beats are very simple, and a lot of the karmic points, the karmic decisions don't really make too much of a difference. So yeah. But it's a very good game, and it plays great, which is key in a game like that. It runs beautifully, and just, wow. Damn graphics.
Yeah, right.
But let's get to the headlines. We start with Super Smash Brothers. Oh, wait. No, we first have to start with what's being shown up on our stream here. Our news of Show Me Your News to lead the MLG Anaheim commentary team. I can't even say it, straight faced without laughing. So hope you enjoyed that April Fool's bit.
You mean Ben and I aren't actually being called in to provide sideline reporting? Damn it!
Well,
Ben, we gotta cancel the plane tickets.
It did say it was a rumor, so. We hope you enjoyed that one.
Maybe if we just went with it, they would be like, oh, I guess we did book these guys.
See how far you can get in.
Yeah, right? No, but we have this thing that we wrote ourselves. Don't you see?
There's no bias.
Yeah.
We just printed out the entire forum topic, replies and all.
I think we always have, bigger plans of what we want to do for April Fool's Day and all that, but involves a lot more work. And this was an easier thing to do, but we thought it had the right bite of cruelness to it and still a good amount of humor. So hopefully you all enjoyed that one. But yes, let's get to Smash Brothers. kind of a weak couple of weeks. Not that strong. So where did we leave off? We left off at was the room with the Tomodachi collection. We had the Smash Ball, and then we started with the Super Mario 3D Land stage, which is the big sell for this week. Tony, what did you make of this one?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it. Good.
I've removed them from my homepage because it's never really anything of huge interest lately.
It's Mushroomy Kingdom with Mario 3D Land graphics, basically.
That's a bummer.
And it moves. It's a lot of moving stages this time around.
Especially on the 3DS version.
It's crabby.
It is crabby.
There's a fucking train somewhere.
Yeah, it's coming from me. Trains out here like to fucking hold their horns down forever. I don't get it. They like to do it at 4 o'clock in the morning, too.
Oh, the motion sensor bomb's tiny.
It is very tiny. You know, we had seen Super Mario 3D Land on 3DS before.
This is Fat Little Mac.
Tony's now just saying whatever comes to his mind. No, we had seen this one before with the spiked pillars that rise up from the bottom of the stage. We had seen that before in video footage, but now we see it's more of a moving stage. Scott, any thoughts on it?
I mean, it looks pretty. I was never a huge fan of the Rainbow Cruise and those more moving levels. I mean, it looks fairly similar. I think they did a good job capturing the art style of the level, but the moving levels are never really my favorites anyway. So pretty to look at, but probably won't be playing on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's unfortunate because they seem to be going with a lot of these this time around, and you got to think from a competitive mindset, that's usually not the best.
Nintendo cares about the competitive scene?
Bah.
I mean, at least they're keeping a lot of these moving stages to the 3DS version, which obviously won't be the version that would be used for competitive, I would assume.
That's a good point, yeah.
I do wish that there was just a simple turn hazards off button. That would be super easy.
If only.
Sakurai doesn't think that way. I mean, it's the rest of the updates aren't that strong. I mean, you have Rosalina who's in her rest position on the ground, and she how calm and nonchalant she looks even when she takes
Why
damage.
does he need to do that for all of the female characters?
He likes the power he has with the camera and the positions that he can move the camera.
Oh yeah.
Just like the trophy for Phosphora, who I think is Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the forces of nature. He even gets close up with them too. Oh, the detail on her scarf is amazing.
Yes, scarf. Indeed.
We got a cuckoo.
Is this an assist trophy or an item? I don't even know. Is this Mr. Saturn now? Is this a Mr. Saturn that kills you if you attack it?
That's a good point. I mean, I would imagine that you keep Mr. Saturn. It's been a item in the last couple games, but I could see it as an item that operates in the same kind of way.
Just sort of shows up on the stage and walks around, and if you attack it, you get mobbed.
Yeah, it attacks you. So, yeah, maybe.
I'm thinking it would have to be assist trophy or an item, because that's the Animal Crossing world, so I can't imagine a cuckoo would just show up in Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
If he'd shown it on Gerudo Valley,
then it would be, okay, maybe it's just a stage pattern like the Super Chimera or Ultimate Chimera, what was it?
Yeah, I think Ultimate
From
Chimera.
Little Pork Town.
Yeah.
I love how we compare the Ultimate Chimera and Cuckoos in the same phrase.
Both cause death.
They're both so terrifying.
So, this isn't out recently, and it's one of the only mentions about it, but the Sonic Lost World DLC, where you go to Hyrule.
Oh, yeah.
There are cuckoos, and they do fuck you up if you homing attack 3 of them.
Nice.
I heard that one actually played really well because it's more open world, and that's kind of what Lost World should have been.
It did, but fucking hell, I forgot how to play that game when I put it back in. I'm I don't know how to move.
But Sonic's wearing a tunic, so
That was a thing.
There you go. That's all.
And Nate got really mad because he's a big Yoshi fan, and the new Yoshi game just came out, and that's eh.
Yeah.
And the Yoshi, I showed him the Yoshi Sonic DLC, and it's just Sonic running along side-scrolling Yoshi's Island, and then this Zelda one's got all this crazy fucking detail and open world, and he's like, God damn it!
Oh, man. Another interesting update was the difference between the outlines on the 3DS, and you can see that the outline does help make them stand out a bit more.
Link kind of blends into the stage without the outline.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's going to be very helpful. Adjust it to your choice. And then Sakurai keeps love dropping these Kid Icarus Uprising things. It's a giant attack item, the Ore Club. He's like, I made this game, so I'm going to keep adding things from this game into this other game I'm making.
It's the Kirby of this game when he put 3 Kirby characters in Brawl.
Yeah, I think he's still holding back on Palutena. Remember those rumors with the screenshot?
Go back and listen to that episode where I ran about fucking subspace, because Kirby characters do everything and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Most notable example I love to bring up is the Meta Knight beat the ice climbers at ice climbing. That's all they got, man.
He's like,
they got each
wings.
other. They have each other.
That's true. That's beautiful.
Unless Nana dies.
Oh, my How I Met Your Mother torn.
She is a whore.
My How I Met Your Mother torrent's done. That's good.
Nice.
You mean your incredibly legal download that you purchased?
Early DVD, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Cough. Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Review copy.
I mean, it's April Fool's. I'm joking.
We got another assist trophy. It's Andros again. He does the same stuff. We saw more of Lumio City. This time it's more than just the tower. You're going to be... Guess what? You're going to be flying around on moving platforms.
I'm really sad that Super was wrong about it going to other places in Kalos.
I know.
I'm really sad about that.
Something like a Kalos cruise would have been really cool.
Yeah. I hope it's always that Andros.
Yeah.
That Andros has no personality.
Need the monkey.
Or textures.
We do need the monkey. Yeah, or textures.
Luigi has a new Final Smash.
Boo.
You like the Zawarudo?
That was so fucking weird, man.
I was never a huge fan of it because it didn't seem like it had a lot to do with Luigi.
Yeah, we are speaking to a Luigi fan here.
Go read the assist trophy, man. It's stark and awesome.
Luigi pulls him into another dimension with his dancing. But
it's like voodoo magic because he's been living in Mario's shadow his whole life or something. It's like, when the fuck did that come from?
With the success of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, he gets the Poltergust, and wondering if it's going to suck something in. Yeah, it probably will.
I mean, it is a vacuum, Sakurai.
Or will it just suck?
Well, I mean, it can just shoot fire and ice and shit in the first game, so.
Damn.
That's true.
That's a cool vacuum.
I think I saw some SMYN just saying, like, does this mean we get a Polterpup cameo?
Oh my god, I love Polterpup. Is that what they call him?
Polterpup is not in this goddamn game, I'm gonna be really mad.
Seriously,
I didn't know it had a name.
I don't know if it's a fan name or an official name, but I heard the name Polterpup.
Luigi's got a ghost dog.
Dark Moon.
Ghost dog! Then we got
the fucking best part of that game is Luigi has a ghost dog now.
We got this stage today for April Fool's Day, which they don't really celebrate in Japan, but it's a Wii U stage. What do you guys make of it?
Seen a lot of people say it's stage builder because it looks very generic, and that spring is the same spring that was used in a stage builder and Brawl.
See, some people are thinking that. I'm also wondering if the spring is just going to be an item and it's just been thrown there. So I wonder about that.
I'm thinking Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem? That's possible. I've also heard Palutena's castle Which, again, more Kid Icarus, I know. But then if that's the case, it would break the whole console games, console stages versus, handheld games, handheld stages. So I don't know about that. Because I'm looking at the busts in the back, and that could be Kid Icarus-ish.
In that case, Fire Emblem would also sort of break that rule.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem's been on consoles as well, though. I mean, it was on the Wii.
That's true. If it was based
GameCube.
on Awakening, though, but then again, that doesn't need to be kept to Awakening.
And this really doesn't help when Sakurai says it may look like a side-scrolling action game, but it's actually one of the stages. Like, good help there.
A game reference to like Legend of Zelda 2.
Possibly.
Or the Legend of Link, the second game for NES, because that was a side scroller.
Yeah.
And that had things like that. So that actually might be it. Because of Link being in the picture as well, it could be a Legend of Link level.
That's possible, yeah.
That spike ball looks like it's from Sonic 06.
Yeah.
I hope that's not what it is, though.
That would be... Sakurai would have a twisted sense of humor, but we know that already. Anyway, it's been a couple of weeks. I mean, we haven't gotten...
Sonic 06 for Masterpiece.
I think we'll get a new character
snowboarding
tomorrow
level
or the next day.
Yeah,
Guys, they haven't announced Yoshi yet. I'm pretty sure Yoshi's not in the game. Why?
I remember the last time the last time you mentioned not getting a character recently on Show Me Your News, the very next day Peach was announced.
That's right. So we have to keep saying, we haven't gotten a new character, Sakurai. I know you're listening.
There you go.
Also, I think I saw Ridley in the clouds. What?
Man, I missed the fucking clouds. That was so stupid.
That was great.
The clouds were my favorite thing.
I miss all the fucking crazy speculation. He just gives us here's a picture of a girl, and it's cool.
Now we just get dumb quote unquote leaks on Smash boards, and it's just that's not real.
We used to get both.
That's pretty true. GDC happened at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. That was about last week or so. Sony had their conference where they revealed Project Morpheus. Will you take the red pill or the blue pill?
I know Kung Fu.
And it was just that online for the whole day.
Where it plugs you into the Matrix and you can download things to learn. But it's actually Sony's PlayStation virtual reality headset in competition with Oculus Rift. This had been rumored for quite some time. They've had patents and whatnot. They had been wanting to reveal it at events like Gamescom, but they decided to wait until GDC. So this really came as no surprise. The form factor looks a little different while it's still in prototype mode. What were you guys' first impressions on it?
I can't say anything about these headsets until I use them. I feel like
that's kind of where I am. I can't judge Oculus Rift or Morpheus until I've used them.
I don't want to judge them until I see the final actual retail units, because both Oculus and Morpheus are still prototype, basically. Yeah, prototype units. So I'm gonna wait until I see the final designs and the costs before I make my decision on
the costs. The costs. What people were commenting about this reveal. People on Twitter and in internet comments and what have you were wondering about Sony. What would it cost? What's the cost that we're talking about? And that keyboard is actually very loud. FYI. Yeah, they was wondering about the cost, and it's Sony, you just revealed a prototype product. They just say this is a long ways away from being complete. We're still trying to get developers on board. This is what we have currently. And these little shits are asking about the cost.
Yeah.
Of course they are.
I mean, what? Well, you want a ballpark? You want to know the cost of how much Sony put into R&D for that? Is that what you want to know? Because there's no way to estimate, the supply and demand right now for something like this. You want the supply and demand? Oh, right now it'll cost you, $1,000? That's not what the final retail price is going to be, because that's not what the market dictates, because that's all supply and demand, and there's very few supply. So it really bothered me that people are just like, I want to be spoiled. I don't know how anything works. And I'm just be like, cost? Cost!
Guys, we might not be even using money by the time this comes out. Be trading firstborns or something. You know, you can't fucking predict the future, okay?
Trading firstborns?
Yeah.
Hey, the way the world's going, you know?
Well, I'm screwed.
That jumped in seriousness really quickly from money to children. Child's.
That's how we
I
roll
know.
on
We'll give our
SMYN.
firstborns to Sony to make our own Morpheus headsets.
Does this technology excite you guys, though?
Not
Yes.
particularly.
I'm more excited that I feel like growing up, virtual reality was huge, and we always kind of imagined it and kind of the idea and dream in our heads, and the idea that we get to see the beginning of what could be like truly the next big thing in gaming. I think this will be much bigger than 3D.
Yeah.
And it will just be really cool because when our kids are our age and they're on Give Me Your Newscast or Smash Up Your News Brawl fan site or whatever, it'll be interesting to see how far it's come at that point. And at least our generation, we didn't really see the real beginning of video games. We weren't around for Pong and things like that, but with virtual reality, we'll be able to say we were around for the very beginning of virtual reality gaming and where it really came in and started. And to be able to look back years from now at Morpheus and all the cool things that this technology will bring about, I think that's really cool. Maybe Morpheus won't be huge or won't be great, but who knows what will happen with Morpheus 2 or Oculus Rift 2. I'm really excited about the potential of advancement and what to see really comes from this.
And
both
who
in terms of
knows?
games and just media in general.
Who knows? Maybe by that point, we'll actually be the Smash Brothers characters.
That would be awesome and painful as hell.
I don't really.
Haptic feedback, you actually feel Link's downward stab on your head.
Boom, punch.
I don't want it to replace buttons and just sitting and relaxing though, and I don't want to be the old fogey because I hate old people that's like, we're just gonna use rotary phones and the internet's evil, and it's like, you don't even fucking know about this amazing world of technology out there.
I don't have an email address.
Back in my day, we played games with buttons. Buttons.
Exactly, but I don't know. Like, I enjoy this experience. I think the virtual headset's good for some situations, but I don't think it would like replace like just playing Zelda or Mario or whatever with a controller. The thing that Nate pointed out, and I was like, yeah, that would be like optimized for that, was a survival horror and shit.
Yeah.
Like, that would be awesome because you can't like run away, like you're there, you know.
There's
Like,
apparently
that kind of situation works really well.
There's apparently a demo there that's like exploring an underwater world,
Yeah,
and like that kind of immersive stuff would be great.
totally, but not for like, I don't know, adventure games and stuff.
So
But
maybe
really,
you're
how-
thinking that virtual reality would be really good for maybe branching away from what we know as traditional games, which is maybe what another company thought when they put down $2 billion in cash and bought Oculus Rift. And that would be
Jesus Christ.
Facebook.
Got so many people mad.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, the Facebook also bought WhatsApp for $4 billion, so, I mean, I'm sure this is all nothing to them, all this, just throwing the money around, but I think they're more seeing it like a way to share experiences, like a Google Glass sort of competitor, if you will, but more immersive than that. But not obviously not Google Glass in the way that you can record your experiences, but to be a viewer and experience it that way. How did this rub you this news? Because it shocked me. I saw the headline and I'm just like, what the what?
Hey, as long as they let the team do what they're doing right now and just leave them alone, cool. Oculus Rift just got a pretty, rich funder.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna get a lot of money out of this. What made me mad was the reactions of all the Kickstarter backers who started demanding their donations back because they didn't pay for Facebook to buy them. And the only thing that I sort of agreed with that I saw was Notch actually responded very quickly.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I guess a couple weeks ago he'd been up there with John Carmack, and they tested the Oculus Rift, and they wanted Minecraft, and he said, all right, cool, we'll see what we can cook up. And then the second he learned that they'd been bought by Facebook, he canceled Minecraft for Oculus Rift.
Yep.
And then Cliffy B called him a whiny kid, but shut up, Cliffy B, no one cares. It's always Cliffy B. Whenever somebody's calling other game developers out for things, it's always Cliffy B. I don't get it.
Well, then he goes and raps on an Ego Raptor video, so I don't know.
Yes. But
what? Oh yeah, that was him. Shit, I forgot about
that. Yeah.
There were a lot of people in that video I recognized. But yeah, Notch said, I'm glad for them. I hope this does well for Oculus Rift. But I do not want to work with Facebook. Facebook creeps me out. I don't like the way they do their business, and so I'm not going to work with them.
Which is a just response to that business-wise, I think. I think some people are being bitchy and overreacting, but if that's what he wants to do, I mean, he wasn't saying, oh, this is failed, it's fucked, and he's just like, I don't want to deal with this. Which I'm like, well, yeah, that's like justified.
A lot of people are just like, oh, I donated to this, and now you're getting all this money, and I'm not getting any of this money. How is this fair?
It's just bitching. This isn't what I signed up for when I gave my hard-earned money. Are you getting...
I mean, I get it.
Like, did you pay enough to get, a dev kit eventually, or whatever you want? Are you still going to get that? No, yeah. You're still gonna get that? Then stop complaining.
They don't understand that with Kickstarter, you give your money, you get your prize for the amount of money you get, and then you're done. You don't get any say in anything after that.
That's kind of the point. Although there is a story later where that may be different, but it's a different scenario entirely.
Inafune made us feel special, okay?
Inafune still makes us feel special. I still get those emails every couple of weeks. And this is our new Mighty Number 9 stuff. What do you think? He's like, oh, Inafune, you make me happy.
But you really do care what I think, I feel like. He's not going to go sell Mighty Number 9 at Facebook.
No,
I'm waiting for next week when Facebook buys Mighty Number 9.
Oh, no. This is a world, though, where Mark Zuckerberg is on top on the totem pole for employees with John Carmack, who has a very extended history in video game development.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the way the world works. Anyway, April Fool's Day is today, even though we're having a serious podcast. Serious business with some humor. What are some of your favorite April Fool's festivities so far?
I know before the show I talked about Kukobu Quest, but another one that I really liked, I like a YouTube channel called CinemaSins, and I don't know if anybody else watches that or not. And what they do is they go through movies and they point out every little nitpicky thing in the movie. And it's really funny. It's not meant to say like, oh, this movie's bad. It's just, hey, let's just
that was weird, right?
Yeah. Like they did one for Captain America: The Winter Soldier today, or not Winter Soldier, Captain America, the first one today. And it was really funny because there's apparently a lot of small things wrong with that. But they also released their April Fool's video. They do a series called What's the Damage, where they go through a movie where a lot of stuff gets broken and they count out exactly how much the damage would have costed. I've yet to see their Man of Steel one, but I would assume that one is huge.
Yeah.
But today they released one for Titanic, and it's just about a minute. It shows the Titanic sinking, says one Titanic, shows how much the Titanic costed, and then ends. And the rest, it's a 10-minute video, and the rest of that video is just black screen.
That's great.
I know the big one that we got yesterday, because worldwide time, it was still so weird to be like, oh, okay, March 31st, you have to think about April Fools, but Google Maps with their Pokemon challenge. Now, I still have yet to partake in it, but the idea is that Google Maps has a Pokeball button on both iOS and Android platforms, and instead of just a April Fool's, haha, wouldn't this be cool if, you can actually go around and, quote, visit certain, points in the world and find Pokemon and try to catch them, and it's actually a really cool idea.
See, Nintendo, This is what you get when you license out your dudes to other people. You get a lot of happy fans.
Who want Pokemon Snap 2.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
But a lot of people were happy with that one. I know the Lore channel did one for Flappy Bird. That was dark.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm excited.
I
I haven't
seen
gone
that
through my
either.
YouTube. Grumps did like 3 videos too that I haven't.
Grumps did Cat Grumps.
Cat Grumps is certainly a thing.
It's just cat footage set to music for 10 to 12 minutes.
I'm gonna watch all of it.
I know you will.
And then I'll go to the subreddit and look at all the gifts, and I'll be happy. I was really hoping they'd do something fucked up with John, or like use voice clips from John, or just something to fuck with people.
I know John did silhouette stuff on his Twitter.
Oh man.
Like he did oh man, guess what? April Fools, and he did like a Game Grumps screen with like a big, silhouette of Not So Grump on there, just like a shadow.
Oh man, I gotta see that.
Yeah, it's on his Twitter account for JonTron Show.
Oh, time to go look at that.
Nice.
Scott, did you see the Titanfall?
I did. That was going to be my favorite.
Tell us about it.
I'm a huge Transformers fan. For those of you in the listening to the webcast or in the chat or whatever, I have an Autobot tattoo on my arm, the Autobot insignia. I have a bunch of Optimus Prime Transformer figures. Huge Optimus Prime fan. And Titanfall released a trailer for new Optimus Prime DLC where you call in Optimus Prime instead of a Titan. And you can get an Optimus. And it didn't sound like Peter Cullen. I don't think it was Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus, but
I think IGN ended up being behind that one. But made it to look like Titanfall did it, yeah.
Oh, wow. They did a really, really good job then.
Mm-hmm.
But not the best looking Optimus. Like, I think his arms could have been bigger. He kind of looked like little kid, teenager Optimus.
Right.
But I thought it was still really cool, really fun idea. So I definitely approve of that. And that Homestar Runner was updated.
Gosh, yeah, Homestar Runner.
That's my freshman year of high school memories right there. So
that may have been the best part.
I think that's my favorite thing at all this year so far, really.
I agree.
Also, I think that JonTron tweet was actually deleted.
Oh, I'm really?
Sure it does not appear to be there anymore.
Hang on, let me go to the Grump subreddit.
It definitely existed, I can tell you that. Also, there's a Smash Brothers April Fool's on the website was smashbros.us instead of .com. if you caught your eye out for that. But it was a Challenger approaching page for Nestor from the Nintendo Power comic. Not the best modeling, but any bit of Smash that we can get sent our way for April Fool's Day, I'll take it. I wasn't buying it hook, line, and sinker because you look at the URL, I'm like, well, that's wrong. But this is amusing. It wasn't a bad April Fool's by any means. Also, the Persona 5 trailer was quite interesting. definitely fake as well, because you see the animated sequences that they did for that. I'm like, yeah, that would be much better in a Persona 5 game. Garrus body pillow
That was a good one.
in the BioWare store. Fuck EA and the Frostbite engine.
Oh, that was cruel. I have to say that was...
That was kind of stupid, and I actually kind of like what Kotaku said that Nintendo should have responded with.
Yeah. So if you didn't catch what happened, the Frostbite engine put out several tweets, which they ended up deleting because they probably realized it's a bad idea, about how Frostbite now runs on the Wii U since it's the most powerful Gen 4 platform. Our renderer is now optimized for Mario and Zelda. And there's all these shots at Wii U like they were, the short kid or the dumb kid in school. It's the whole idea in comedy and trying to be funny. You always punch up. You always try to go underdog to take down someone bigger. When you punch down, when you try to pick on those lower than you,
you just look like a dick.
It looks bad. Yeah, you look like a dick, and so.
EA needs all the positive press it can, by the way, too. So.
That is true. Did you end up finding the JonTron tweet?
I didn't. I'm not sure where you guys saw it. I'm sure it would be top on the Game Grumps subreddit if it was real.
Really?
I'm sure someone would have screen capped it immediately and it would be up there.
He definitely had it on his JonTron Show Twitter. I think even there were 2 tweets.
How late was it? I'd still feel like someone would have got a picture of it.
It was only it was in the middle of today.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I know someone's out there listening.
JonTron accounts.
No, I know someone's out there listening. I think I even favored it, so that might be gone though. I know someone's out there listening and they saw it too. So, YouTube also did a video with how they're creating, or they were the ones behind YouTube memes, and so they have a hashtag new trends, and it was kind of a stretch, but whatever. Overall, I think it was a weak April Fool's.
Yeah.
I mean,
not the best.
Past years have been better. And I think we just get our hopes up. And, there are certain April Fool's jokes that'll just go down in time as favorites. I mean, I remember, the Zelda movie from IGN. Or...
That was cool.
Sonic and Tails and Melee is still probably my favorite April Fool's.
On EGM, yeah.
Yeah.
Then also, this was only a couple years ago, but Assassin's Creed for Kinect.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was still one of my favorites.
Google had 2 of my favorite ones were the dual mouses.
Oh yeah.
Where it's really hard to get down, but you can get it figured out in a little while. It's just like anything you can learn. It's a guy playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and drawing in paint with 2 hands,
smell-o-vision.
Bullshit.
Yeah. It's smell-o-vision and all this stuff. And Smashboards this year just did their 2002, early skin. So it's simple.
My favorite year was, and I'm not as big a... Man, I could talk leagues about how the pony fandom just got super weird and I don't want to be associated with it anymore, but I still like the show. But now I'm just like, yeah, this show's good. I'm not like, yeah, brony, fuck. It's
kind of funny how I know several people like that now.
But, ponies used to be really hard to, find the episodes, and it's like, shit, I gotta, download them, or they were starting to take them off YouTube. And it was, April 1st, and Netflix is like, guess what got added to Netflix? And it was My Little Pony, and I'm like, yeah. Because I knew what day it was. I'm not an idiot. I see so many people get fooled with, I'm pregnant, every time. I'm like, how do you guys fucking every year? And I'm like, yeah, that's no. I'm going to check, though. Oh, it's really there. And then later that night, Tsunami came on. I was watching Astro Boy and shit. And then Tsunami's still back. That was awesome. That was my favorite April Fool's Day, was, Tsunami coming back. It was amazing. Cowboy Bebop.
Tsunami.
Yeah, I'll bring this up because this is last thought about April Fool's here, and it's kind of a more serious thing, not gaming related. But while we're on the topic, and it is today, I feel kind of sorry or just strange and uncomfortable about those who actually have news to reveal today. Serious,
Oh, I agree with this. Yes.
important news. And either the news is serious enough that people believe it because they don't want to call April Fools into question, or they just say, oh, yeah, April Fools, I don't believe you. And they're like, no, but it's true. So
I swear.
In the more dismal, morbid case, I had someone on Facebook post something about their dad passing away. And they put exclamation points next to the news, and I'm just thinking they're getting tons and tons and tons of comments about, I'm so sorry, my condolences. And is it weird for me to think but what if you're just doing this for attention on April Fool's Day? I don't know. It's really weird, I guess, for me to bring up. But at the same time, if someone said, oh, I got a new job, I got this position, and that's kind of the other end of the spectrum. It's really good news. You'd be like, yeah, okay, April Fools.
I think when it's something like that, you can kind of. If it's minor kind of good news, it's yeah, that's probably. That probably just happened today. But if it's a big, engagement or some bullshit,
Yeah. Or we broke up. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. So.
It was a weird laugh, Nova.
I try.
Quick update, though, on one of our April Fool's Day jokes. I guess EA has officially apologized for their April Fool's Day joke with Frostbite.
Could they better?
Peter Moore has come out and said it was stupid. Our apologies to partners at Nintendo America and fan at Frostbite Engine's poor attempt at April Fools, not condoned by EA. Unacceptable/stupid.
Good for
Nintendo
them.
of America, not Japan. Fuck Japan.
That's fair. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because that's one of the weird things about April Fool's Day, that if you actually have news, or if you're being really morbid about it, but it's a joke, any end of the spectrum, it does bring in complications when people try to be funny about that stuff, or whether they're being serious. If that makes sense?
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid. This was my smartest 4-year-old moment, and it was kind of fucked up. I rolled a ball down the stairs, a big ball, and then I started to pretend I was crying, and my dad was like, "Holy shit, he fell down the stairs!"
But you were sitting at the top of the stairs.
I got your ass.
Wait a minute.
Don't do that, by the way.
That's really mean. Well, shifting tones to the hilarity of the week. Ha 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 ha. Japan has announced their mascot for the 2014 World Cup, which is the football.
This is hilarious. I thought it was awesome.
It is funny. It's not a fail. It's hilariously awesome.
Yeah, dude.
The football tournament that takes place in Rio de Janeiro in 2014, only a few months away. Damn.
Only a few months until everyone in America pretends to like football for a little while? It's crazy.
But it's soccer here. But Pikachu is the mascot for Japan, and he's bringing his pals along. No, we're not kidding.
And yet none of them are Hitmonlee, the Pokemon whose entire thing is kicking.
I was trying to think of a soccer Pokemon.
Who would be a good goalie?
Snorlax.
That's a good
Snorlax.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Wailord. Just like
Wailord wouldn't fit in the stadium.
And you might need water too.
Yeah.
Wailord, throw the ball back.
Just like
Wailord.
Trying to flip a
Like
paddle.
Snorlax, the ball would just bounce off of him back to his teammates. And he has arms if he happens to be awake.
Yeah, if he happens to be awake.
If Pokeflute it.
There you go.
He probably wouldn't like go anywhere at halftime. He'd probably just just chill there the whole show.
Roll to the other side.
See, now I just thought about like, I don't know if
Do
you
they
played.
switch sides in soccer?
I think they
No,
do.
I mean
Like,
he would just like roll to the other side of his body.
No, I'm asking because that's like a basketball and football thing. Do they roll to do they roll? Do they go to the other side?
Probably, I think so.
I thought there was only like one 90-minute period, and that's that. Or one 90-minute.
It's 45-minute halves.
Oh, it's 45-minute halves.
Yeah.
A long fucking time to run back and forth.
It is. Well, they got to be in good shape. Scott, you grew up in the same city I did, so it wouldn't surprise me if you played youth soccer.
Zone soccer.
Yeah, youth soccer was a big thing where we grew up. So I just thought of like, parents or kids bringing orange slices, because like that was the thing to do, and like I'm just thinking Snorlax, nom 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 on the orange slices. I don't know why. Maybe it's the grapefruit, the Pokemon grapefruit episode. Snack Attack, that Orange Islands. Yeah, and I'll stop talking. But yeah, Pokemon and Japan's World Cup mascot. Hooray.
It's pretty cool.
Yay.
A lot of stories to get to that did not make the cut. The first of which could change the video game industry. This happens tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow morning. Amazon is set to reveal their video game hardware plans.
As you said, watch. They didn't do it today, you guys. Like, they're not stupid.
Exactly. Like, when you have big news to break, that's legitimate. And, the reports have been going back and forth between a console-like device that would be more of an Android sort of run system. Not like Ouya, but, kind of similar in that regard. Or a Chromecast plug-in to the TV that operates more, like a streaming device. So there are definitely mixed reports on that, but, we've seen stories like how they bought Double Helix, who developed Killer Instinct for the Xbox One. And they're trying to build up, their software library. And Amazon is one of those companies that does have a lot of money to throw around to start something like this.
Oh, yeah.
My friend just got hired by Amazon to work in their game development branch.
No kidding. Wow.
Yes.
I mean, big things happening there. And 11 a.m. Eastern on April 2nd, tomorrow, they're having a sort of video stream to announce this information. So it's surely something we'll talk about on the next episode in a couple weeks from now. But we're on the precipice of maybe things changing. And that's exciting.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a battle between Steambox and Amazon, if anything. I don't think it'll so much upset the home console, like the big three console market much.
I don't think it will either. But it'll be a player for sure. You can't count out Amazon as just like, oh, it'll be like, ooh, yeah, and it'll be irrelevant. No, it'll be, yeah, like you say, like Valve.
I think it's going to be a battle between those two, Amazon and Steam. Because they both offer amazing deals.
Yeah, I can see that.
So definitely some excitement there.
Indeed.
Also, positive news, I think, for Xbox One. They, kind of had a reshuffling of, internally in their organization, not only with the new CEO a couple months back, but they're consolidating all of their Xbox, teams under one roof for the Xbox brand, and they've named former head of Microsoft Studios, Phil Spencer, as the head of Xbox. And I think that's a really good thing for them to consolidate everything, whether it's, with Smart Glass and Xbox, Live and the studios and music, video. To put that all under one roof, I think is a good thing to help that company kind of centralize their focus and look moving forward to any kind of division within a company like that is not going to help you. And I think if you had one person still left at that company who could take charge, I think Phil Spencer would be the name, because Don Matrick wasn't going to do anything because he already moved on.
Mark was changing T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Phil Spencer would be. He's changing T-shirts and he's changing roles. But Mark Whitten of Xbox Live, he's moving on to was it Riot? Some Oh, actually, that might have been Uncharted 4's game developer. At
Yeah,
Naughty
it was
Dog.
Uncharted's.
Yeah, that moved.
One of their developers went to Riot.
He moved on to Riot. I mean, a lot of shakeups in the game industry, but I think this consolidation of Xbox brands and to put Phil Spencer at the top of it, I think is a good move moving forward for Microsoft.
I think we will see his impact or how good of a move it was in about 2 months' time at E3. I think we'll get an idea then just how things are.
That is a good point, man. We're 2 months away.
2 months.
Holy
You're like
crap.
2 months and a week
That's
before that whole craziness starts again.
That is crazy. Maker Studios, which is a kind of hub.
Hodgepodge.
Yeah, just like a big.
They run a whole bunch of crap.
They really do. I mean, Blip, Polaris, all these different sort of media entities under this big conglomerate of Maker Studios. They've been purchased by Disney because Disney is the behemoth that just likes to swallow everything. So I guess
I don't understand why.
I don't know either.
Like, this seems out of there. I don't understand.
Out of their wheelhouse, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to the Disney store at the mall over the weekend because I live close to all the malls and stuff, and we were just checking everything out. I went to the Disney store, and there's a Captain America 2 poster, like, up front. I'm like, that's weird. And then there's all kinds of Marvel stuff, and there's Star Wars stuff, and there's Muppet stuff in the back.
Along that same logic,
I'm like, could I see Game Grumps stuff in here one day?
Yeah, maybe. Because they're now technically Disney employees.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, it really is. Local newspaper here was doing a Disney villain bracket for the. And we talked to Doba about this before our Leighton cast.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a Disney villain bracket for the whole March Madness thing, and they included Darth Vader and Galactus on there, and it's just like, wow,
it's weird.
That's so messed up. I don't know. But yeah,
they had the NCAA like commentator. I don't know if he's a big deal with like you guys. He's an older guy, and he's just like, yeah, baby. Like he's just got a weird voice.
Oh,
and stuff.
take my time, baby.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm talking about down the sidelines.
He was at Disney World in a commercial, and he had like R2-D2 hat with Mickey Mouse ears, and I'm like, whoa.
Oh man. I saw that he was talking about, what was it? He was doing baseball predictions for whatever reason on ESPN. And, like, he was in a cowboy hat and he was doing, like, this giddy-up motion. And then over on Deadspin, like, they set that music to the Genuine song Pony. The wow, 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 wow. So it's creepy. He's an odd bird.
I like that guy.
I guess so. He's got quite the voice. But yeah, so Disney bought Maker Studios, and that's kind of a big deal for $500 million.
And they've already had their first debacle, which I will talk about in a bit.
Hooray!
Yay!
Did you see that Vine I sent you?
Yes.
Did you laugh as hard as I did?
Yeah, that was pretty great.
It's a Vine. It's called Everyone's in Bracket right now, and it's just a guy burning it to Amazing Grace.
Yep. Pretty much how my bracket ended up being. I had a perfect first day, 16-0. Now my bracket's in shambles. It's terrible. That's always what happens, though. Assassin's Creed games are so easily leaked out these days, and good on Ubisoft for reacting to this Kotaku story that kind of had a lot of things about the game Assassin's Creed Unity, which is the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC game that pretty much spilled the beans on it, and so they gave an alpha build video the next day. So I think it was really good to turn around that way for them. That's going to be set during the French Revolution. So go figure on that one. And then Kotaku, about a week later, has details from a French report about Assassin's Creed Comet. So 2 Assassin's Creed games supposedly this year. And this one is going to be on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. according to reports, set as a Templar perspective with a Templar agent named Shay. A lot of ship naval gameplay, much like Black Flag, along the Atlantic coastline and the Atlantic Ocean around 1758. So it sounds like Unity with the French Revolution is going to be the more interesting game, though I wouldn't knock the ship gameplay in Black Flag too hard, because that was much improved compared to 3. That was
the sooner one of these games come out, 4 can come out and be like $15, so that's good because I haven't played 4 yet.
I'm just glad that Ubisoft is making this kind of move, that they're kind of separating the two. I think that, for Unity to not be restricted by past tech is the best thing they can do for, the game's vision. So the more
it'll be cool.
Yeah, the more studios can start to do this, to move on and not cling to, the last gen does still have a very big, consumer set, so we really should cater to them. Like, I think the sooner we can start moving on to that, we can get better game experiences sooner rather than in a couple years from now. Yes, quite.
Indeed. I just want an Assassin's Creed set in feudal Japan. That's what I want.
I know.
That's what everybody wants. It's never gonna happen.
And they kind of
eventually
talked about it in the fans want it in Black Flag. They kind of covered it in not really a mocking sort of way, but they at least brought the idea up.
Didn't they say it would be too easy to do or something?
Something like that.
I remember someone saying it would be too easy.
Yeah. Kickstarter game is on hold after 2 years after raising $53,000. The original creator of the Super... what is it? He did the Super Mario Brothers crossover. And he made his own game, or is trying to, but he didn't hire a lot of people who had experience. And so this kind of inexperience caught up to them. And now I think this is the story I was talking about earlier, where I think they're going to try to see if they can refund, some of the backers. But that's because they don't have a product to give out. It's very different compared to, Facebook bought Oculus, but Oculus Rift is still going to be a thing, especially when they have $2 billion thrown their way. Just because you don't like, the directions and tips and turns that have gone along in the development, doesn't mean you can start, demanding your money. That's not what Kickstarter is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So it just shows, the buyer or backer beware sort of mentality there. Scott, big news for us.
Be careful what you invest in.
Big news for us PS4 owners. Why don't you talk about the impact on this future update for streaming?
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
I know. Do you want to talk about the...
Sorry, I didn't hear you say my name.
Yep.
The PS4 capture program it does a good job. My biggest issue is more with the camera, not being able to set the size of the camera, but it's incredibly easy and I really like it. But being able to capture with my HD PVR will be incredibly nice once they remove the HDCP. It'll make reviews a lot easier for people and media outlets. I think it'll be great. It would have been really nice had it come out like 3 months ago when we were doing things for the commercial.
This is so true.
So true, but better late than never. Hopefully it'll be in this month, but I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fantastic, and I can't wait to be able to record footage and capture highlights on my Twitch channel.
That's the big thing for me, because I played a lot of Infamous Second Son, streaming on our Show Me Your News Twitch channel, but because it doesn't back any of it up through PS4 at the moment, I can't do highlights. I can't then make YouTube videos. So this is going to be a big step, and they say in the coming weeks, which is kind of a setback, but at least it's happening, and that's a good thing.
What's really strange, I have my entire playthrough of Knack saved on my Twitch channel.
Oh, jeez.
Somehow it saved before Sony was like, no, you can't do that.
Huh.
So I have all of NAC. At least the last time I checked, I still had NAC. I'm checking right now, but yeah. All of my NAC parts are still up there. Part 1 through 6 are still saved and archived on my my Twitch channel.
Well, it's just going to make, streaming from consoles a better experience, and it's really good that that's going to be happening.
It'll be going up against Xbox, so I think that's the main reason we're like, okay, we're gonna do this really soon, guys.
Yeah, we gotta get that moving. And then EA finally lost in the worst company in America competition du jour, what have you. Lost in the first round to Time Warner Cable, which is pretty much going to eventually be Comcast. So, but they lost, and so.
Is that good? Is Comcast better?
Comcast is really good in terms of internet speed, but they do charge you way too much for cable. They're just starting to become a monopoly. They're huge. They own NBC.
I'm fucking done with cable. Like, since I moved out, I've read about it. I'm like, that's so stupid. We should be in a day and age where you should be like, I just want 5 channels.
Mm-hmm.
And South Park had a really good episode about it. If you want to go check that out.
All right. We got to get through the rest of the show really quickly. We're already at about an hour and a half. The games out recently: Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. We talked about that. We talked about Final Fantasy X and X2 HD Remaster. Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z.
I didn't even know they were still making Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, it's kind of more of a cel-shaded game. It didn't get the best reviews. One of those, they're trying to be really hardcore sort of game with the violence and all that, but it doesn't really come off that well.
They tried to appeal to the American audience. I think that I remember reading that that's what they were going for with that.
Well, they didn't succeed all too well. Pokemon Battle Troze for 3DS. That came out. Infamous Second Son. Really enjoyed that game on PS4. BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma, the third game in the BlazBlue.
They made a third game?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
BlazBlue!
More BlazBlue. Solid Snake 120 played Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, the expansion to Diablo 3. We finally got the last bit of DLC for Bioshock Infinite with Burial at Sea Part 2. I'll be looking to play that sometime this week.
And everyone who helped make it's probably out of a job right now, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's the last Irrational Games. Apparently it's quite well done. You play as Elizabeth, more stealth involved gameplay. And apparently it ties up Bioshock Infinite and the first Bioshock quite nicely.
That's good.
So, good for them.
Nice.
Goat Simulator.
God, I gotta play this game so badly.
I am not on this bandwagon at all.
Me neither. But I can see the lulls, but it's not one that I'm going to put money down.
I'll wait till it's a
$1
$1 on Steam sale, then I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for it to be cheaper, but I want to play it really bad.
Yeah. And then MLB 14, the show is out today for PlayStation 3, but who cares because PlayStation 4 version looks much better, even though it comes out May 6th, and I'm going to wait for that. Soapbox. Gotta make these quick, but the How I Met Your Mother series finale was last night, and I'll keep the spoilers light because I know Tony was...
None.
Tony was...
I haven't watched the last 15 episodes or anything.
Oh, damn. We gotta get on that.
I've been letting them pile up.
I know you were acquiring the early DVD, April Fool's, just kidding, but...
Yeah, dude.
A lot of people are not happy with it. I am someone who... I didn't really like it, per se, but I'm satisfied with it. I'm at a point, even though How I Met Your Mother is my favorite show of all time, it's a show that really speaks to me, and I can even remember days on Show Me Your News Past where Samurai Panda was like, yeah, it's the show called How I Met Your Mother. You should watch it. I think you'll really enjoy it. I'm like, well, holy shit, turns out I did. I'm not going to get all beaten up about, oh, they did this wrong and this wrong. So I'm satisfied with it. I can see where there are faults that they could have, spread out that ending. They try to cram so much into an hour. And
that's stupid because they bitched and moaned for a whole nother season to cover 2 days.
Exactly. And there's something I would say, but it is spoiler. Some people can say like it kind of cancels out. It's the whole Mass Effect 3 argument. If you think that an ending just it invalidates the parts of the series, you mean the journey throughout the whole thing wasn't worth it for you? Like that, you didn't get any value in that? I don't see the whole point of like the invalidation of the show, but I will give this critique of the finale and what they decided to do. The creators of the show had a vision for how they wanted How I Met Your Mother to end. And this was something they created in like around the second season while the show was still young, and this was the vision they had. And they recorded, the kids on the couch, recording lines for this ending. Well, the show was much more popular than they thought it would be, and it continued on for 9 seasons. And characters went through arcs, and changes were made in each of their lives. Yet the creators wanted to stick by the original ending, and it felt like a lot had to change to fit that original vision, which could have worked very well in the show's early conception. But I think it was a bit of stubbornness to stick by the ending that they originally created for the story, even though it might not have entirely matched how the characters were progressing at that point. But I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'm satisfied. I'm not going to be heartbroken about it, even though a lot of people, I would say like 2/3 of people online are peeved by it. So,
yeah, I watched it earlier. I agree with that. It was satisfying, but I don't really agree with how they tied it up, like the big stuff at like the very end of it. Mm-hmm. I was kind of meh, but I thought it was a good wrap up.
Mm-hmm. I think there have been worse.
There have been worse.
Shows, yeah. Scott, your soapbox.
My soapbox, what I want to really talk about is how basically Bravely Default, a game which many people know was one of my most anticipated games of 2014. I loved it. I was preaching the demo. I wanted everyone to get it. I think if you own a 3DS and like old RPGs, you should get it. But I guess the sales did really well worldwide, and this surprised Square. And it made Square realize that maybe they should start looking back at the roots, that they've lost their focus. And
yeah, maybe.
And they were like, oh my god, we made a game based for Japanese audiences, basically how our old RPGs were, and it sold like hotcakes, like people actually want this. And I was just blown away, and I really hope from the interview with the Square Enix president how he was like, we've lost our roots, we really want to go back and make the games that people expected to and not try to not so much change it, but stick with our roots and refocus our efforts. And I really hope that this will bring about the resurgence.
Final Fantasy 13 4.
No, I think Final Fantasy 13 is like the exact reason they're bringing it up. They tried doing games with a worldwide perspective, and Japanese companies aren't really good at that. Not all of them. I'm not saying all of them are good.
Gaijin Goomba does a really good rant about how they just don't perceive the West very well, like they have no idea. And then you can look at creators like Inafune and Kojima who like travel around and like look at other control schemes and stuff. Like they know what's up, but a lot of them don't.
Yeah, some are willing to kind of really understand and try and learn that just how the other parts of the world work. And I really hope that with Bravely Default doing so well and them being shaken up and seeing that the RPG market isn't a niche market. They brought up Hitman, how they're kind of addressing the new Hitman coming out and making it more like the old Hitman games that people knew, that people loved. That this will re-energize and bring back the Square from the 90s that created the amazing games of Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Cross, Final Fantasy IX, all these different games. And if they're successful, I hope that other Japanese developers will realize that you can still be incredibly successful if you fall back on your roots, if you refocus your efforts and realize people bought your games because they were amazing, not because they were developed or geared towards that specific region or the games that are popular in that specific region. They were geared, people enjoyed them because they were masterfully created games. And just because you might be targeting one audience, it doesn't mean that the whole world doesn't have audience members of that audience. So I'm really hopeful, and with everything they've said, it just makes me really happy and excited that Bravely Second will probably also come out. So over here, so
Well
yay! I want
Well
to see
put.
90 Square come back.
I mean, it's not like Kingdom Hearts formula changed and those still did well. It's not like I think when Sakagaki left, they were really like lost. After he left, after he made 10, it's just like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Some minor things changed in Kingdom Hearts, though.
Yeah, but
I mean, they
nothing
did try a bunch of stuff, like the handheld games especially. And I mean, there were things in Dream Drop Distance that I wasn't a huge fan of that kind of deviated from things with the whole Dream Pet system and crap like that.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Dream Pets.
Exactly.
But
So
also-
I don't think Kingdom Hearts was spared from some of those changes.
They also did say Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 information at E3.
Christ, I hope so.
Like,
Final Fantasy 14 or 15. I think Final Fantasy 15 is going to be winter this year, maybe January or February next year. I
No,
think
they're
it's
just
going to be
gonna-
this year.
I'm calling it now. They're just going to step on stage and be like, hey, we're making these games. Bye.
You mean
Square
like what they
Enix.
did
see
with
you
Kingdom
at
Hearts
TGS.
last year?
Yeah.
See you at TGS.
Yeah. That would be cruel.
I was so pissed
isn't
off.
that what they did with Final Fantasy 15 at the PS4 reveal?
Yep.
We will have more information at E3. Goodbye.
See you at E3.
I wish you had my heart hooked up to a monitor when that guy came out, and
Yeah.
he's like, ah.
But yeah,
I'm
just like,
ah.
oh, hype, hype, hype. Aw.
Oh.
Adobo, what's your soapbox?
My soapbox is I mentioned earlier that Maker/Polaris had a little mishap. You know, this mishap happened last week. And by mishap, I mean a $400,000 mishap. Recently, last week, Polaris and Maker Studios partnered with Mountain Dew and a couple other places to set up this show called Game Jam. And for anybody that doesn't know, in the indie game community, a game jam is when you get a team of people or just one person sit down and they give themselves a pretty short amount of time, like usually it's around 24 hours or a week, and they say, we're going to make a game in this time, like a full game. And so they wanted to make a show that brought in some actual big indie developers. I don't remember any of their names. I know the Stanley Parable guy was one of them. Depression Quest gal was one of them. And they just brought in a bunch of indie developers. And they also brought in a bunch of YouTube personalities, such as our favorite JonTron was there. And Angry Joe was there.
Love Angry Joe.
Mark Plyer. Dodger was supposed to be the host, and just a whole mess of internet personalities as well. And what was going to happen was they were going to split these developers and these personalities into two teams, and they were going to make a game. They were going to have to make a game in, I think, 3 days was what they were going to do. Or at least that was what it was supposed to be at first. Somebody else got a hold of the stuff. The project, a lot of people are saying the project got too big for Polaris, and they had to hand it off to somebody else to make sure it was all managed well and everything. And somebody decided that it would be better as a full-fledged reality show,
Oh God.
Oh God.
where they flew all these people out and then proceeded to show them the schedule, and suddenly these people realized that this schedule has like 1 day of game development and the rest of like arts and crafts challenges and physical challenges and crap that had absolutely nothing to do with game development. And they had gone out there because the whole point of the show was we want to show the world what making a game is actually like. Like there's all this sort of we don't see a lot of the stuff that happens behind doors in game studios very often. Like, you don't see postmortems outside of GDC, and design documents are very rarely released. Um, but they were going to do this whole thing and have it all filmed. But unfortunately, the guy in charge of filming everything, and basically the guy that ended up taking up the role of director, was a guy that Pepsi brought in because Mountain Dew was a huge sponsor. And they brought out their contracts, and there was a lot wrong with these stupid contracts. Like, they were only allowed to drink Mountain Dew or water, not allowed to drink anything else.
Damn.
So they weren't even allowed to drink coffee. Like, coffee was banned from the damn studio. They were told that they were only allowed to look a certain way while drinking Mountain Dew, because apparently they had to be taught how to smile properly to look like they were enjoying the product. The contract specifically listed the ability for misrepresentation, as in they could take something you did or said out of context to make you look like a worse person to make more drama happen. And the thing they were trying to do was cause drama between these two teams, and they didn't really realize that the indie scene doesn't really like drama between people. They work together. They're very friendly and tight knit. And basically what ended up happening was nobody signed the contract, but they started filming anyway, and the guy in charge was a man named Matty, I believe is how it's pronounced, Matti. I don't know exactly. He worked for Pepsi, and he was treating it like a scummy reality show. He would take it around, and the first time they realized there was an issue was that JonTron was put on a team with the girl who made Depression Quest, which is an indie game not a lot of people played because it was put on Steam Greenlight, and because people found out she was a female game developer, there were death threats and stuff.
That was an awful news.
This is the internet, and God, fuck those people. But she didn't really get along well with John, and John didn't really get along well. And it's not that they didn't like each other. Their personalities just didn't mesh very well. Mm-hmm. And so John did what anybody would do, what any smart human being would do, is he asked her if she'd like to go out into the hall and get a few wrinkles out and make sure they didn't mess up the group dynamic. And she agreed, and they went out into the hall. And then the guy had this Matty guy had them take cameras out there to follow them. And they both, of course, told him to fuck off. Later, he tried to get John alone in a room to try and make
testimonial.
Try to make him say bad things about this girl named Zoe. And, of course, John refused because John's a nice guy. He's not stupid. He's not a dick.
He refused sometimes.
Yeah, but not
usually
in that
for
way.
comedic. Usually for comedic trolling or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that interview failed, and John was pissed, and I think that's when John left production. And what basically ended up happening, like the final thing was, he started going around to the teams and saying, "So the other two teams have women on them. Do you think that puts them at a disadvantage?" And then he went to the teams with women on them and said, "So you guys have a couple pretty girls on your team. Do you think this gives you an advantage?" And long story short, by the end of the day, this $400,000 game jam, basically the most expensive game jam ever done, every single developer left, walked off set, refused to do anything else.
Good for them.
And the guy who caused all the problems was fired with extreme prejudice.
The best kind of fired.
And they're right now. Polaris is in talks with the developers about trying to get something else out there, trying to get all these compromises in place, and all the developers they've all basically said, and there's a big huge write-up about the entire incident on Indie Static, and I can give you a link to this if you'd
Please
like
do.
after
Yeah,
the
we
show.
gotta put it in our show notes for sure.
I didn't even know about any of this.
Yeah.
But everybody's fine for the most part. All the developers agree that it was not Polaris's fault. It was not Maker's fault. It was the people they had to bring in that sort of fucked everything up. I know a couple of the developers, and like John and Markiplier and Dodger and a couple other people all went to Disneyland afterwards, so they're fine because they obviously weren't working for the rest of the weekend, so they just went to Disneyland.
I've seen those pictures.
But it's just, first off, props for them for walking out.
Yeah,
because,
stick to their guns.
Yeah.
like, fuck that. That was all, and they've all said, like, we walked out because everything about this was directly against what we thought we were doing and what the indie scene tries to do.
Yeah.
Or
just,
like in general, really, like they didn't sign up to do YouTube stuff for like that kind of shit either.
Yeah, and
Creative freedom and whatnot, away from stupid media bullshit.
just the fact that this even happened in the first place, kind of sad.
Yeah, having done game jams, I mean that it's such a fun and such a huge team-based, like strengthening activity. It's just to do shit to that, like this to it is just.
And like, I mean, there's even a lot of big companies that do game jams just to unwind. Like I know Double
Bethesda
Fine.
does.
Bethesda does it. Double Fine does it. Double Fine has the most famous one where most of those actually turn into like full-fledged games that Double Fine releases. But just, man.
I know.
Thank you for sharing that story, though. Like that's really interesting. I'll have to give that a read later. And respect for all those people. You stick to your morals and what's right and what your vision is for that project. It's terrible what happened to them, but it's great how they responded. So kudos.
And I'm glad that guy lost his job.
I wonder how Angry Joe got. That's his thing,
Apparently, everybody just
Hopefully,
ugh.
you should make a video just to rant about it.
Yeah.
Tony,
I know a lot of them are under contract and can't actually.
No, that's true. Polaris is picky.
Yeah, they're very. Because I know Dodger has a daily vlog thing where
she didn't bring it up, probably.
And she briefly mentions it and mentions that things went wrong and no filming and a lot of filming wasn't actually done. So then we got about a day's worth of footage before things went to shit completely.
Yeah, we'll definitely have that story in our show notes for sure.
Yeah.
Tony,
that's all I got.
Yeesh. Fucking hey,
how do you follow that?
one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to briefly mention, real quick, since it's like just too much of a clusterfuck for what are you playing? But I got a big old fat CRT. It's like 32 inches in our living room, and it's like below our HD mounted TV. Mm-hmm. So we're like doing old games, and man, I've like heard Aaron bitch about like lag, and now I've like experienced it more. I've experienced it a bit with Super, like just playing like Melee, and I'm like, whoa, okay,
yeah,
there's a bit of a input difference. But holy shit, like I played Donkey Kong Country for like the first time in my life again or something. Like I always suck dick at Donkey Kong Country, and I'm like, oh my god, I can do this now. Like there's a difference. Like it's awesome. There's no lag. It's instant input, and yeah, we're just collecting old games. I feel like Gimpy, but to a much smaller degree, because Jesus Christ. Starting to build up somewhat of a little collection, trying to go back and like find stuff. I found this was weird. It's this weird little hobby shop. They used to do Smash tournaments actually, and I found like Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt for like $4. And weirdly enough, I saw like just Mario Brothers and it was $9. I'm like, why the fuck? Why wouldn't you just get this one? And I was like, we don't have the gun, so that's Yeah. But I don't know, man. It's a world of a difference, and like you wouldn't think of it. And I don't know. I think the frame rate just looks better. Like Nate was just playing like Fire Red on the Game Boy player, and I'm like, I don't know if it's the frame rate or just because the picture is just stretched artificially.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It just looks so much better though. Like I can't believe it. And
Yeah.
NBA Jam's great.
Yeah. Now we definitely came across a lag issue when Super was over and we were playing Project M on the projector in our basement. Oh,
Yeah.
there is it's like online lag basically, and that was something. But it's kind of makes me proud because when I had my first apartment with Samurai Panda, we had our like 50-inch or whatever HD TV on an entertainment stand, but right next to it on a chair, we had a little CRT right there as well.
It's cool, and it's
Yeah.
like it makes you feel like a kid again. Like
Yeah.
it's like on our floor, so we just kind of sit on the floor like kids again and just play like Mario 2 and shit. Like it's really cool.
That's kind
And,
of cool. It's just like, oh, like that's like my first apartment experience too.
And also my Genesis was broken, so I had to remedy that.
Oh,
It wasn't broken, but it wasn't making sound, and I bought like an old Genesis 2, which is
Right.
like my favorite model. Like it's awesome. The only downside is there's no red composite cable input, so it's just like mono.
it's mono sound,
But
yeah.
but it's got S video, and I've never seen S video before, and it's fucking awesome. Like it looks
Really?
so good. Yeah. Have you
Huh.
ever messed with S video?
I've never used it, but I've
It-
seen the plugs and all that. Just never used it.
It's very pretty. Like Mario World jumps out at you a lot more and stuff. Genesis doesn't have one. I think you can hack a Genesis 3, but I ain't fucking with all that because I don't even
So
know.
it doesn't have what Nintendo don't, or
Yeah, right.
No.
Oh man, we went on a big like spree of looking up like old commercials too. Like we just been in the mode for it, and
Super
it's
Mario
a lot.
Kart, 2 speeds fast and way too fast.
Oh my god.
It's so silly, but yeah, it's great. Just going through old stuff, like trying to collect old stuff. I found. What did I find? Yeah, I found the Mario Brothers, and then like I was picking up like WWF No Mercy on N64 because I just hear that's like the best one like ever. And I saw F-Zero for like $7, and I wasn't even looking for it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna not get F-Zero for $7
Right.
because shit be expensive online to a ridiculous degree now. Like Earthbound's an obvious one. Go look up Mega Man X3. That shit's like $300-$400 now.
Scott?
Got mine for $45
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
last
Don't-
year.
Look for it now. It's insane. But yeah, it's fun collecting all the old stuff again.
Awesome.
And I wish I did it a few years ago because it's fucking expensive now. Like I said. Yeah, CRT game is the way to go with the old school stuff.
Oh, yeah. YouTube recommendations. Let's wrap up the show. Tony, we'll start with you.
No, you don't. Go. I gotta look. 'cause I
Nova.
forgot.
We talked about GDC earlier. One of the coolest things that ever happens at GDC is sometimes people get up and give postmortems about games. Sometimes they're old games. So go look up. Apparently, a couple years ago, John Romero did one on Doom. There's one on the original Fallout. There's one on Maniac Mansion, which is a really great point and click, and one of the first use of the Scum engine. There's all sorts of. There's one on Portal 2. They're really cool to watch. They're very interesting. They're long, so just have them on the background or something. But definitely look up GDC postmortems.
All right. Scott.
I'm gonna do two really quick. One's more of a channel, and the other's an actual video.
Sure.
First off, if any of you in the listening to the podcast are fans of the anime Gundam, just Gundam series in general, I highly
that?
recommend Gundam or something. It's very Japanese.
Bang, bang.
Pew! But I highly recommend you check out the YouTube channel Gundam Info. No spaces, but it's basically a official Bandai YouTube channel that has a bunch of the newer entire seasons of Gundam subbed in English. And the newest one that just came out, or it actually just finished, Gundam Build Fighters, they had them up right after they aired in Japan. So brand new episodes.
Dubbed?
No, not dubbed, just subtitled. So if you don't like subtitles, you probably won't like these. But it has 00, Seed Destiny, Gundam Build Fighters, which is amazing, by the way. It's an anime about people building Gundam models and then fighting with them.
I was
It's
gonna
hilarious.
say because Space Dandy's coming out, and it's like it aired here before it did there, so I didn't know if it was that kind of a deal. Like it is cool seeing anime like do that kind of stuff now.
Mhm. But Gundam Info, it's a channel on YouTube. Highly recommend it. And then for my specific video, though, it's the newest episode of Screw Attack's Death Battle, where it's Luigi versus Tails from Sonic.
Been meaning to look at that one.
Highly recommend it.
These second fiddles.
Yes, exactly.
As it were. It sounds like a good one.
It's a good one. They go. I don't know if any of you have not watched any of the Death Battle series. I highly recommend it.
It is.
They go
series,
into
yeah.
in-depth describing what each character has, like their strengths, their weaknesses, stuff like that, and then they have an animation of them fighting. So,
My buddy,
very fun series.
My buddy back in the old Middle Ground Comics day, he was a dude I looked up to a lot, and he still does comics like every day. He's a machine. Akuma the Hedgehog, he does like research on it, and if you know that dude's comics, he like knows and watches every cartoon and comic thingy I've ever seen. So he's really good at that, and I think he helps make sprites and stuff because he's a really good spriter. So
Nice.
yeah, Death Battle's cool. It used to be on YouTube, and I like got to go to their site now, so I don't do it as much.
It's still
but
on YouTube.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
I think you gotta be subscribed to the like whole like Screw Attack channel, and they just send you all their bullshit. And I'm like,
You get it earlier, but it comes
They
out.
do. Yeah, they do it like a week or so earlier on their actual website, but all their stuff is still on YouTube.
I just need to find a playlist.
Yeah.
I'll just do that at some point. I'll just add it to my watch later. While we're kind of on anime, I was gonna say Dragon Ball Kai is coming back in Japan and on Sunday with the Boo Saga, and that's fucking
right.
exciting. But as for WrestleMania, yeah. But YouTube representation, I want to give a little shout out to Gerard. He's like doing. I don't want to like belittle the old stuff, but I think he's doing some of his best work right now in his Final Fantasy VII retrospectives. Awesome videos. He's about halfway through them. Go check them out and watch the ones as they come out next week and the week after.
They're monsters. They're like 25 minutes long. That's super
Oh,
impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, they're good videos. Wasn't it like his thesis or something he said in the first episode?
Yeah. And they're really well put together. And he he was interviewing some like other YouTube personalities, and they had the game theorist on there.
Oh yeah, Matt Pat. Yeah.
And they just like, I have a theory, and they just fucking start busting out laughing.
A game theory.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
And then they had a bunch of like people like talking about how Aerith affected them, and then Ego Raptor's on it, and he's like, "Man, I didn't give a shit. I didn't use Aerith at all. Like, Tifa was way better." Which made me super happy.
I have two videos. One of them, considering how much I don't care about Titanfall, I came across a video. I think it was through. I don't want to misappropriate it. I'll have the link, but. It's an impressionist who does a Barack Obama impression, and so the idea is Barack Obama plays Titanfall. And I'm someone who's so far removed from like online multiplayer things, but if I had an experience like that where, you had someone trying to essentially pretend like he was Obama, and then all the players are just like kind of buying into it and quote unquote asking the president questions and all stuff. They're entertaining videos, so. If you want to check out Barack Obama plays Titanfall, that's good for a couple laughs. Also, a few weeks ago, I binge watched the first season of Attack on Titan on Netflix. And at Youmacon 2013, we were at the Team 4-Star.
Yeah, they fucking
panel.
did like 6 episodes. I was pissed.
They spoiled it for sure. The first 5 or 6 episodes. But, I'm watching, I'm like, I don't get it. This isn't that funny to me. But after watching the whole series, going back and watching Team 4-Star's Attack on Titan abridged, so much better once you know the material. It's fantastic.
I was super bummed out because I knew it was a big deal, and I'm like, I'll wait. And just it was relatively new, and then they're like, let's abridge it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I get a feel for the first episode. And they're like, that was 6 episodes. I'm like, fuck you guys.
Mm-hmm.
This just came out. That's not cool.
Yeah,
In their defense, the first 6 episodes are pretty damn boring in Attack on Titan.
it's true.
I don't know, man. Megami's our friend. I probably shouldn't talk that harshly, but I was kind of like, I'm in this panel. I can't just leave,
Yeah.
Because I've heard about the show and like they're only like halfway through the manga and they've been doing it for 4 years and they started the anime and they're like on break and like it'll probably take another 4 years. I'm like, I'm not watching that shit. I'm not gonna watch it and then like get let down with waiting and like maybe 4 years of filler like Naruto style or some shit. Like I'm not dealing with it until it's done.
I just said the abridged is really well done after you watch the show, but yeah,
I'm sure.
I mean. It kind of stuck with me, like the big spoiler at the end of that abridged and at the end of episode 5. Like, so when I watched the actual series, like, oh, I know that happens.
Yeah, that sucked. That was the biggest thing, though. I was just like, well, I better not get attached to that. I did appreciate the Always Sunny bit, but...
Yep. Anyway, I think that's all we have to cover on the show. We're reaching 2 hours here. Guys, thank you so much for being on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me just sneak on.
Hey, you guys had great stories to tell. Thank you for the soapboxes. That was fantastic. Tony, it's another week. We have a couple more, and then, gosh, what's happening in the middle of April? More WrestleMania?
Birthday.
Yeah, the 13th. That's right.
You want to send me some retro games, you know?
My birthday's tomorrow.
That's right, it is. Oh, my goodness.
Sweet. I'm glad it
Mine
wasn't
is
today.
in like 9 months.
Well, happy birthday in advance to both of you. That's awesome. And, Scott, I know you wanted to plug your Twitch channel.
Yes, I have a Twitch channel, and granted, there aren't many of you still watching, but in case people listen to this later, I will be doing a Tales of Symphonia stream later, probably starting Saturday, and I will be giving away a free copy, still sealed, of Tales of Symphonia HD Collection for PlayStation 3 to my viewers. So if you have a PS3 and like Tales series and don't have it, or have never tried the Tales series and would like a free copy, stop in the stream, follow the channel, and yeah, it'll be a good time. I do lots of games, and I also take requests.
And the channel would be what?
Twitch.tv/SolidSnake120. So,
Okay.
got lots of people coming in, and it's a good time. It's a good time, so.
Good stuff. Well, thanks again, guys. Hope you enjoyed the listen. With that, I'm Yoko.
I'm Tony.
I'm SolidSnake120.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah!
And we are out. Enjoy.